Hey guys, welcome to our November Tech Bite. I crammed it in the day before Thanksgiving, which may not have been the wisest decision, but uh, I'm glad that everybody could make it and spend the time, and I really do appreciate it during this busy time. Today, we're going to continue and probably wrap up on Harmony email. The last two sessions have been on Harmony email. The first one was a really cool live implementation and a little bit of a walkthrough. Um, And if you missed that one, I highly recommend it. Um, Doing that live implementation resulted in a bunch of great questions, both during the session and then after the session. So I wanted to get to all of them, and I kind of combined them into a session about the user experience last month with Harmony Email, and a little bit about DLP as well was in there. Which was great. And that created more questions after the session again, which was just great, guys. I really appreciate that. Um, that created more questions. And so today we're going to do a little bit more on some of the stuff that was asked and kind of wrap this up and, and uh, do our thing. So, there's really three major things I wanted to talk about today. The first, probably take up the bulk of the session, and I think this is going to be a fast session today. The one that's going to take up the bulk of the session is talk. We're going to go through an event or two, right? Um, Second is we're going to talk a little bit about ShadowIT, and the third is creating a custom DLP, custom DLP phrasing, right, or query. So starting off with the events, right? So one of the questions I got is, we went through some stuff, we looked at a bunch of things. Um, Give me 1 second. 1 second, please. Over here playing operator. Very sorry. Got a lot going on. Okay, so events. I wanted to show um a couple of events and go through them and just kind of get a feel for how to read them and what we're seeing and those sort of things, right? So here in the events tab, I'm going to go ahead and change the search term to the last 12 months because some of the stuff I did more than 30 days ago. You see, we have a bunch of different events here, right? We got phishing things, we got a threat extraction, cleaned up PDF. We can look at that one too. We got some ShadowIT stuff, which is going to play into our conversation in a few minutes. Here's some phishing. Um, so one of the ones that I wanted to show, where is it? So this one I thought was a really good one, right? So here's an email came through, right? Came to two of my users. Here's the sender. We got a bunch of different things. We got the headers, which we can show. This is a little bit older, but you could show them normally. The thing that usually is the first place I look is right here on the security stack, right? What was seen and what was the action that was done. So in this case, right, Microsoft Defender said this one was clean and sent this right on through. Checkpoint popped off with the anti-phishing, right? And at the time, I had this in the detect mode. So it did deliver it to the inbox. It has since removed it after it went back and removed it after I moved to prevent mode. And you see it was inspected by Microsoft. It was inspected by anti-phishing. So what's wrong with this email? Why does Checkpoint think this is a bad email? You see right here, we talk about the relationship strength between these two parties that were exchanging the emails. And there's not a lot of relationship strength, right? So here's one of those kind of learning AI type of things that Harmony does. It says, hey, this these two users really don't communicate very often. And this whole domain doesn't communicate very often with the other, with the two domains. So that's a little bit of uh, a risk profile raiser. Um, this one is a bigger one, right? So this is the AI impact model, right? So we see how certain aspects have affected the decision of the AI model, right? So you can see like the info of the sender, their domain, their listing, their who is lookup basically. That's okay. We the Harmony says that's okay, right? The reputation really doesn't have much reputation. Attachment, there are no attachments. But when we start looking at these other things, right? The links in there are suspect, and that's why it's red. The brand usage, it picked up on the title's email, which was win a free iPhone, and that set it off big time. And then the text, which said, here's your free iPhone, go ahead and click this link, is a big no. That's a basically a full that's the full red. Basically, it goes to 1. So we can see that the AI picked up on things in that email that raised the risk profile, especially that body, the text in the body, significantly. You can see there's more emails with the sender, right? So that's good stuff too. And then yeah, so that's kind of where Checkpoint came up with, this is a phishing email. You can actually go to like Virus Total even and check these these links, right? So like, let's see what Virus Total server. Yeah, it's no good. So not available. So let's see what else we got here. Hang on 1 second, please. So anyway, we have, where was it? Get this controls out of here. So the next step we're going to do, we're going to look a little bit at a ShadowIT, right? So first off, what is ShadowIT? ShadowIT is potentially admin type tools that are being used in your environment that admin may not have approved, right? So something like Dropbox or a TeamViewer or go to my PC, those kind of things that can be admin tools. So they're not malware per se, but they are, they may not be explicitly permitted by um, by corporate use. Zoom is also one of those, and so is Teams and those sort of things. So what happens is Harmony picks up on that, right? Harmony sees emails from those services to users' inboxes and says, "Hey, this is from a domain that we know is a ShadowIT type company." So let's click on this and let's look at what we got here. So we have 2 ShadowIT events. Both happened yesterday, as it were. We see that this user, right, who we know is a very shady suspect fella. This user went ahead and he's using TeamViewer and he's using Dropbox, right? And we can actually click on either one of these to see, the details about the email he received from Dropbox. Of course, emails from Dropbox are, common. Their Dropbox is a regular real vendor, and many companies use them, right? But it pops off the ShadowIT, right? You can even see the the link. You could see like the link analysis here, right? And it sees that Dropbox is a high traffic domain, and this domain was purchased many days ago, which is all very good stuff. You can even see the secure preview. That if you were to click that link, this is where it would bring you. Takes a second. Interesting. Um, but we can see that this is from Dropbox. Now, here's the thing, right? And we could, by the way, you can also get here from here, right? Analytics, ShadowIT. Here's the thing, right? We can click on this Dropbox thing, and if we wish to allow Dropbox, we can approve or dismiss this app, right? So if Dropbox is a legit app, let's say that it is, right? Once we click dismiss, or sorry, once we click approve this app, it gets added to the allow list, and you'll no longer see Dropbox emails as ShadowIT, and your counter on the main dashboard will not show emails from Dropbox either, right? It'll remove them from the ticker. If we dismiss this, we're simply saying, I acknowledge that I saw this, remove it from the ticker, but Dropbox is not approved. And if we see Dropbox in the future, we'll we'll flag it again, right? So same thing with TeamViewer, right? We can approve it or we can dismiss it, right? If we go ahead and dismiss, I'm going to dismiss one of these. I think I'll dismiss this one, Dropbox, right? So I dismiss Dropbox. That's okay. So it should show now that I have one ShadowIT email that requires my attention, right? So we see the counter went down. The idea with ShadowIT is to see things your users are using with their corporate email, and how think about how we want to react to that. Do we not care that they're using Dropbox? Is it a big problem for us? Is it something we need to make a change to corporate policy? Or perhaps we even want to start blocking Dropbox with one of the with this, right? Because we could block the Dropbox domain and stop the emails from coming in, so no one else could sign up for Dropbox with their corporate email. We could also use other technologies like a firewall or our endpoint or what have you to block traffic to Dropbox's services, right? Same thing with TeamViewer or whatever else might show up in the ShadowIT. Any questions so far on any of that? Let me check the chat real quick. Looks like it's good. Okay. So the last part I wanted to show today was somebody asked me after the last conversation. Basically, they said, "Hey, listen, that's great. You have DLP, and we really thought that was cool. But how do I add a DLP type? What if we have our custom SKUs or our custom number or our custom words, whatever you have, right?" So the way to add a data type or definition, if you want to use that word, to DLP is here in the settings, right? Settings, DLP data type. And you'll see in here that there's a whole mess of different things, right, that are already baked in here, right? Credit card numbers and date of birth and, domain names. And I mean, it's all sorts of stuff, right? Even like gender and stuff like that. So it's all here, to begin with. But if you have something that's proprietary, customary, a little off the beaten path, you can create a new data type, and you give it a simple name such as test DLP type. Make a nice description. This is my test. You can see I've done this already once. And now you're prompted with what kind of match type, right? Now, if it's a specific word, right? If it's a specific word you're looking for, right? You can go ahead and just punch it right in here, right? So if the secret password or the secret proprietary, this is how we mark our documents, is I don't know, Thanksgiving, right? We simply add that keyword, and any document that has the word Thanksgiving in it is going to get picked off, right? And it's going to get caught by DLP, and whatever the DLP policy is, that's how it's going to react. Now, the other way we can do it, a little more advanced, is we can do regular expressions, right? And a regular expression is how we look for strings, right? This is how we got these ones in here, like a credit card that we know it's, 4-4-4-4. That's how we do it. When you click learn more here, it teaches you the syntax, right? And there's a good lengthy detailed write-up here. But you see, this is how we can do the syntax, right? And this is how we can create, if we had like, I don't know, special account IDs that you wanted to create, like the way the account IDs look for the DLP, or perhaps you had like a proprietary code that you were writing, and at the top you append some kind of number to it or something. This is the way we would make this happen, right? So that's how we add that. So I'm going to save my change because I went away. Thanksgiving one. I'm going to add it. I'm going to save it. And now we can see, here's my test DLP type, and the match criteria is the word Thanksgiving. And from now on, if an email or a Teams chat or a document has the word Thanksgiving in it, DLP will pick up on it and act accordingly. In this one, I have DLP just in detect. Okay, so that was everything I wanted to show you. I hope that was helpful to understand some of the things we talked about, some of the questions that we got after the last session. And sorry for the interruptions I had. Are there any questions? And I'm looking at the chat, or if you want to raise your hand or something, that's fine too. I'm going to go ahead and give that a second. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Oop, I got a question. Hang on. Oh, good question. Excellent question. The question is, does this also work for G Suite, or is it just for O365? Yes, the DLP works for Google Email. Adding the terms just like we did, we'll also pick that up on Gmail. You can actually link it to both. So if you have corporate Google and also Office 365, you can link up both, and you can make separate policies, right? The DLP in Office 365 can be a prevent mode, and the DLP in Google can be in a detect mode, for example, or however you want to configure that. That's a really good question. Any other questions? Okay. Okay, well, guys, thanks so much for taking the time. I know this is a busy time, and I, want to really say I appreciate you joining. This, of course, will be out on YouTube shortly, and everybody have a great. Oh, got another question. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys too. Everybody have a great Thanksgiving. Everybody have a happy holidays. Thanks so much, and we'll see you next month. Take care.